What if everything you've been told about the sky is only half the story? What if the stars above you are not just random points of light, but a vast, silent language waiting to be deciphered? For centuries, humanity has looked up and seen only beauty. But a select few have seen a pattern, a message, a warning, or perhaps an invitation. Tonight, we are going to read that message together. I am going to show you that the celestial event you are about to witness is not a random act of cosmic physics. It is a sign that has been foretold in ancient texts, encoded in the architecture of forgotten civilizations, and written in the very fabric of our DNA. And by the end of this journey, you will not look at the night sky the same way again. You will see the hidden connections, the divine geometry, and the profound secret that has been hovering above us, silent and patient, for millennia. But to understand what is coming, we must first journey back to the very beginning, to a time when the sky and the earth were not separate realms, but two halves of a single breathing entity. Imagine a world without electric light, where the only illumination after sunset was the flicker of a fire and the overwhelming, breathtaking tapestry of the cosmos. Our ancient ancestors did not just see random stars. They saw stories. They saw gods and monsters, heroes and tragedies. They saw the constellation of Orion not as a collection of distant suns, but as a great hunter, forever pursuing the Pleiades across the void. But was this merely primitive storytelling? Or was it an intuitive understanding of a deeper truth? What if these myths are not just fanciful tales, but a form of ancestral memory, a way of passing down vital information about cycles of time, planetary alignments, and events of such cosmic significance that they literally shaped human destiny? The Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, is not just a tomb. Its shafts are precisely aligned with the stars of Orion's belt, a constellation associated with Osiris, the god of rebirth and the afterlife. This is not a coincidence. This is a deliberate act of celestial mirroring, a way of saying, as above, so below. The builders were encoding a map of the heavens into the very stones of the earth, a permanent record of the sky at a specific moment in time, a moment they believed was of paramount importance. But the next part of this puzzle will surprise you even more, because this knowledge was not confined to the sands of Egypt. It appears simultaneously and mysteriously in cultures separated by vast oceans, who could never have communicated with one another. Consider the Maya, the master astronomers of the Americas. Their long count calendar, which famously sparked global fascination with its end date in 2012, was not a doomsday prophecy, but a complex system for tracking vast cycles of time they called world ages. They believed that celestial events, particularly the movements of Venus and the precise alignments of the sun at solstices and equinoxes, were direct communications from the gods. Their entire society was orchestrated around this cosmic clock. And on the other side of the world, the builders of Stonehenge arranged massive monoliths to capture the first light of the summer solstice sun, marking a turning point in the year with staggering accuracy. How is it that these disparate cultures, from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the jungles of Central America to the plains of England, all shared this obsessive need to track the heavens? The conventional explanation is agriculture knowing when to plant and harvest. But that is too simple, too mundane. The scale of their efforts, the sheer monumental nature of their observatories, suggests they were watching for something else, something specific, something cyclical yet profoundly transformative. They were waiting for a sign, a convergence, a celestial event of such power that it would herald the end of one age and the dawn of another. And what comes next may change how you see the sky forever, because modern science is now beginning to uncover the physical mechanisms behind these ancient intuitions. We are starting to understand that the cosmos is not a silent, empty vacuum, but a dynamic, interconnected field of energy and information. Let's talk about the science, but not in a dry, academic way. Let's see it for the miracle it is. Every atom of oxygen you breathe, every particle of iron in your blood, was forged in the heart of a long-dead star. You are literally made of stardust. This is not a metaphor. It is astrophysical fact. When a massive star reaches the end of its life and explodes in a supernova, it scatters these elemental building blocks across the galaxy, eventually coalescing into new stars, new planets, and ultimately, life. So when you look up at the night sky, you are not just an observer looking out at a distant spectacle. You are the universe looking back at itself. You are a product of these cosmic events. Now, consider the forces that govern this dance. Gravity is not just a pull between objects. It is a curvature in the very fabric of space-time, a warp in the cosmic canvas. Light itself behaves as both a particle and a wave, its path bent by gravitational fields, its very nature dependent on the observer. This is the realm of quantum physics and relativity, a realm that sounds like magic, but is the fundamental operating system of our reality. And within this system, celestial events are not just pretty light shows. A solar eclipse, where the moon perfectly obscures the sun, is a precise alignment that creates a momentary portal of shadow, a reset button for the Earth's electromagnetic field. The aurora borealis is the visible manifestation of solar winds interacting with our planet's magnetosphere, a shimmering shield protecting us from cosmic radiation. These events have measurable effects on technology, on animal behavior, and some researchers suggest on human consciousness itself. But the next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know, a secret that bridges the gap between the cold equations of physics and the warm, living pulse of mythology and spirit. Throughout the Bible, celestial events are consistently used as divine signage. The Star of Bethlehem that guided the Magi is the most famous example, a celestial beacon heralding a spiritual revolution. In the book of Joel, God proclaims, "I will show wonders in the heavens and on the earth." In the book of Revelation, when the sixth seal is opened, there is a great earthquake, and the sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. These are not merely apocalyptic poetry. They are descriptions of specific celestial phenomena, total solar eclipses and lunar eclipses, woven into a tapestry of profound spiritual transition. The heavens are presented as God's billboard, the first and most universal scripture written in a language of light and motion that every culture can potentially understand. The Magi from the East, who were likely Zoroastrian astrologer priests, were not practicing forbidden magic. They were reading the signs in the heavens that their own tradition had taught them to look for, and it led them directly to the Christ child. This tells us something incredible, that God can use the universal language of astronomy to communicate with all peoples, regardless of their specific creed or location. The sky itself is a vehicle for grace. So when we witness a major celestial event, today a rare planetary alignment, a bright comet, a meteor shower of unusual intensity, we are not just watching rocks and ice and gas. We are participating in ancient tradition. We are witnessing a moment in a grand cosmic narrative that has both physical and spiritual dimensions. We are being invited to look up and remember our place in a vast, intelligent, and purposeful creation. Now, let's focus on the specific event that is drawing our attention. I'm speaking of the imminent alignment of insert specific celestial event. For example, the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, the passage of a comet, a total solar eclipse. On the surface, astronomy can explain it perfectly. The orbits of these celestial bodies have brought them into a specific configuration from our vantage point on Earth. We can predict this down to the second. But the synchronicity is what should make your breath catch. This event coincides with insert corresponding earthly or cultural event. For example, a major global festival, a significant date on the ancient calendar, a time of collective uncertainty. This is the as above, so below principle in action. The macrocosm of the cosmos is reflecting the microcosm of our human experience. It is as if the universe is holding up a mirror, asking us to see the patterns in our own lives and in our world. Is it a time of ending? Of new beginnings? Of confrontation or reconciliation? The nature of the celestial event gives us clues. Eclipses have long been seen as times of revelation, where hidden things are brought to light. Planetary conjunctions are seen as moments of potent new energy, the start of a new cycle. Comets have been viewed as both harbingers of doom and messengers of change. The specific archetype matters, and as we delve deeper into the symbolism, you will start to see the threads connecting the celestial to the personal, the astronomical to the anthropological, the scientific to the sacred. But to truly grasp the magnitude of this, we must venture into even more mysterious territory. We must talk about the precession of the equinoxes. This is a slow, grand wobble in the Earth's axis that takes approximately 26,000 years to complete one cycle. As our planet wobbles, the position of the Sun on the spring equinox slowly drifts backward through the 12 constellations of the zodiac, spending about 2,150 years in each. This is the true age of astrology, the age of Pisces, the age of Aquarius. We are currently on the cusp, transitioning from the age of Pisces, an age characterized by faith, boundaries, and institutional religion, into the age of Aquarius, associated with innovation, information, collective consciousness, and revelation. The celestial event we are witnessing is not an isolated incident. It is a key marker in this great cosmic shift. It is an acceleration of the vibrational frequency of the planet, a download of Aquarian energy that is breaking down old Piscean structures and forcing us to evolve. This is why the world feels like it is in such turmoil. The old is resisting the new. The systems that defined the last 2,000 years are crumbling, making way for something we cannot yet fully envision. The heavens are broadcasting the signal for this transition. The question is, are we listening? Are we tuning our receivers? This is not a passive process. We are not mere spectators on a rock hurtling through space. We are active participants. Our consciousness, our collective thoughts, prayers, and intentions are part of this cosmic ecosystem. The pioneering work of scientists like Dr. Masaru Emoto, who demonstrated that human intention could affect the crystalline structure of water, gives us a glimpse into a profound truth. Our inner world affects the outer world. The Earth itself is a living entity, with its own consciousness, what some call Gaia, and what others would recognize as the glory of God's creation. When we gather our attention, when we focus our prayers and our positive intentions during a powerful celestial event, we are amplifying a signal. We are harmonizing with the cosmic frequency. We are, in a very real sense, co-creating with the divine. This is why every spiritual tradition emphasizes the power of prayer and meditation. It is not just a psychological comfort. It is a practical technology for interacting with the fundamental field of reality. And right now, the universe is offering us a powerful amplifier, a celestial lens through which to focus our light. What we choose to focus on, fear or love, division or unity, despair or hope, will be magnified and seeded into the new cycle that is dawning. The next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know about how you can personally align with this energy and become a conduit for its most positive expression. Think of your own life. Think of the cycles you go through, periods of darkness followed by breakthroughs, times of endings that make way for new beginnings. Your personal journey is a microcosm of this cosmic dance. The celestial event above is an invitation to align your personal rhythm with the grand cosmic rhythm. It is a chance to release what no longer serves you, just as the moon wanes. It is a moment to set powerful new intentions, just as the sun aligns with a new constellation. This is sacred technology, available to everyone for free under the open sky. You don't need special equipment. You only need to look up with a willing heart and a mind open to wonder. Go outside on the night of the event. Feel the air on your skin. Look up, breathe, let the sheer scale of it humble you. Let the beauty of it heal you. In that moment of awe, you are connecting with every human who ever lived, who looked up at the same stars and felt the same wonder. You are tapping into a current of awe that is itself a form of prayer. And this brings us to the most important part of our journey together tonight. This knowledge is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be shared. The light we receive is meant to be passed on. This is where you become an active part of this celestial story. If this message has resonated with you, if you feel that spark of recognition, that divine curiosity igniting within you, then I invite you to act. The algorithms that guide this digital platform are a modern-day mystery, a kind of digital constellation. By clicking the like button, you are sending a signal. You are saying, this light needs to spread. By subscribing, you are aligning your channel with this frequency of revelation, ensuring you don't miss the next piece of the puzzle as we continue to decode the cosmos together. And most importantly, by leaving a short prayer in the comments, a prayer for a loved one, for our world, for healing, for peace, you are doing something profound. You are creating a digital tapestry of light. You are focusing the amplified energy of this celestial event into a wave of positive intention that will ripple out across the globe. Someone somewhere is feeling lost and alone in the dark. Your like will help this video find them. Your prayer in the comments might be the exact message of hope they need to see. You can be a star for someone else in their moment of darkness. Let's use this incredible technology to perform a modern-day act of collective blessing. Let's create a beacon of hope so bright that it touches every corner of the earth. So as we continue to watch and wait for the main event to unfold in the heavens above us, remember that you are not separate from it. You are made of the same stuff. You are animated by the same breath of life. The same intelligence that orchestrated this grand celestial dance is whispering within you, guiding you, calling you to remember who you are and why you are here. This is not the end of the story. It is barely the beginning. The alignment is approaching, the energy is building, and the secrets are still unfolding. In the next moment, we will delve into the specific prophecies from the Book of Enoch that describe this very configuration, and how the fallen angels, the Watchers, are said to be intimately tied to the movements of certain stars. And it is within these ancient, almost forbidden texts, locked away for centuries and considered too dangerous for common eyes, that we find the next layer of this mystery, a layer that will directly connect the celestial event above to a spiritual war that has been raging in the shadows since the dawn of mankind. The Book of Enoch, quoted by the Apostle Jude in the New Testament, yet removed from most modern Bibles, speaks of the Watchers. These were not mere angels. They were beings of immense power and knowledge, sent to earth to guide humanity. But what they did next defied the divine order and plunged our world into a darkness we are still struggling to escape. They looked upon the daughters of men and found them fair, and they descended, taking them as wives. This was no simple celestial romance. This was a transgression of cosmic law, a violation of the sacred boundary between the spiritual and the physical realms. But their sin did not stop there. The next part of this story will be even more shocking, for the Watchers did not come empty-handed. They came bearing gifts forbidden knowledge. They taught humanity the secrets of metalworking, creating swords and shields and the art of war. They taught the crafting of cosmetics and jewelry, enhancing beauty to feed vanity. They taught astronomy and the patterns of the stars, but they twisted this sacred science into astrology, binding human destiny to the stars rather than to the Creator. And most terrifyingly, they taught the secrets of root cutting and enchantment, the dark arts of sorcery and witchcraft. This was the original corruption, a deliberate poisoning of the human spirit with technology and magic divorced from divine purpose. But the true, hidden reason for their rebellion, the secret they were trying to achieve through this hybrid offspring, is something that will change your understanding of human history forever. The offspring of the Watchers and human women were the Nephilim, the giants of old, the mighty men of renown. These were not just physically large beings. They were genetic abominations, creatures of immense strength and appetite who began to consume all the resources of the world and, according to some ancient interpretations, the very souls of men. But their existence was not the endgame. It was a means to an end. The Watchers were attempting to create a permanent biological bridge between their realm and ours. They were seeking to change humanity to a hybrid state, to corrupt the pure genetic and spiritual lineage of Adam so thoroughly that a Messiah, a pure and perfect sacrifice, could never be born to redeem it. They were trying to lock the prison door from the inside, ensuring that no divine salvation could ever reach a humanity that was no longer fully human. This is why the Great Flood was not merely an act of punishment. It was a surgical, cosmic quarantine. It was the resetting of a biological experiment that had gone horrifically wrong. But here is the question that has haunted theologians and secret societies for millennia. Did the flood wipe them all out? The next revelation is one that mainstream archaeology refuses to confront. But the evidence is buried in the ground and encoded in the myths of every culture on Earth. The answer is a terrifying no. The knowledge of the Watchers, the blueprints for their technology and their sorcery, survived. Enoch himself writes that the fallen angels begged him to intercede for them, and before his final ascension, they revealed all their secrets to him, which he then wrote down. These secrets were buried, hidden, and preserved by a select few who survived the deluge. This is the origin of the dark, esoteric knowledge that fuels the secret societies that still operate in the shadows of our world today. But the physical lineage also survived. Ancient texts and legends from the Canaanites, the Greeks, the Hindus, and the Norse all speak of a recurring theme: gods and giants, demigods and titans appearing after the Great Flood. Goliath, whom David faced, was a remnant of this bloodline. The purpose of these beings and the secret societies that worship their progenitors has always remained the same: to rebuild the ancient world order, to reestablish the connection between heaven and earth on their own terms, and to once again corrupt humanity to prevent its ultimate salvation. And this is where the celestial event above ceases to be a mere spectacle and becomes an active, living signal in this ancient war. The Watchers were intimately tied to the stars. They were the stars of heaven who fell to earth. Their original domains, their places of power, are linked to specific celestial bodies. The alignment we are witnessing is not just an astronomical occurrence. It is an activation of an ancient, dormant grid. It is a key turning in a lock that was sealed millennia ago. What comes next will reveal a hidden truth you never expected about the very ground beneath your feet. This celestial grid has a terrestrial counterpart. The ancient megalithic sites Stonehenge, the Great Pyramid, Easter Island, Machu Picchu are not randomly placed. They are built upon powerful ley lines, nodes of planetary energy that correspond directly to constellations and stellar patterns. These sites were originally established before the flood, with technology and knowledge we can scarcely imagine, as a pure system of worship, a way to harmonize the earth with the heavens under God's command. But after the fall, this same network was corrupted. It was co-opted by the surviving Nephilim bloodlines and the secret societies that serve them, to use as a powerful antenna array. Their rituals, their sacrifices, and their ceremonies conducted at these sites during specific celestial windows are not empty superstitions. They are a sophisticated form of spiritual technology, an attempt to use the energy of the earth and the alignment of the stars to broadcast a signal of their own, a signal of rebellion, of control, and of invitation. They are trying to use the upcoming celestial event, this powerful surge of cosmic energy, to amplify their call into the void, to signal the same rebellious spiritual forces that fell in the days of Enoch and Noah. They are attempting to open a door. And the most terrifying part? They believe they are about to succeed. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is a spiritual battle played out on a geometric and astronomical chessboard. The patterns are there for anyone who has the courage to connect them. The symbols of the elite, the all-seeing eye atop the pyramid, the obelisks, the obsession with Saturn and its hexagonal storm, are not random corporate logos. They are a language, a heraldry of this ancient hybrid priesthood. They are celebrating their lineage and their purpose in plain sight. The upcoming celestial event is the climax of a ritual that has been centuries in the making. It is the final piece of a celestial alignment that they believe will grant them unprecedented power, ushering in their long-prophesied New World Order, which is nothing less than a modern reconstruction of the pre-flood, Nephilim-dominated civilization. But what they plan for as a triumph is in reality a trap of their own making. The door they are trying to open is one they cannot close. The forces they seek to invite are not their servants, but their masters, who view them as disposable pawns in a much larger game. The story only grows darker and more mysterious from here, because we must now ask the ultimate question. If this dark ritual is underway, is there a countermeasure? Is there a divine plan to intercept this signal, to shut this door, and to use the very same celestial energy for a purpose of redemption and liberation? The astonishing answer is yes, and it involves a secret army that has been operating in plain sight for the last 2,000 years. This is where the narrative splits, and the true nature of the cosmic war becomes clear. While one side uses the celestial grid for control and invocation, the other side uses it for prayer and intercession. You are not just a spectator in this battle. You are a node on this grid. Your prayers, your worship, your acts of genuine love and kindness, these are not just sentimental notions. They are powerful, coherent frequencies of spiritual energy that interact with the fabric of reality itself. When you pray in alignment with God's will, you are emitting a signal that disrupts the dark harmonics of the enemy. You are jamming their transmission. The celestial event above is not just a tool for them. It is a tool for us. It is a moment when the veil between heaven and earth is thin, when prayer is supernaturally amplified, when the divine presence can descend with unprecedented power to shatter strongholds and break chains. This is the hidden meaning behind the stars fighting in their courses from the Book of Judges. The cosmos is a battlefield, and the alignment of the stars dictates the flow of spiritual energy. We are being called to mobilize. We are being called to become conscious, intentional participants in this battle of frequencies. We are being called to form a net of light across the planet, to use our collective faith to override the dark signal, and instead broadcast a symphony of worship that will usher in a true divine intervention. But how do we practically do this? The secret lies in a technology far more advanced than anything conceived in a laboratory. The human heart in a state of genuine, selfless love and worship. This is the ultimate weapon. The enemy's technology, for all its sophistication, is based on a frequency of fear, pride, and control. It cannot withstand a concentrated beam of pure agape love. This is why the forces of darkness work so hard to keep humanity in a state of anxiety, division, and hatred. It renders us spiritually inert. It disconnects us from the power source. The upcoming celestial event is a divine opportunity to reboot the system. Imagine millions of people all around the world stepping outside under that aligned sky, not with fear, but with awe. Not with a sense of doom, but with a heart full of gratitude and a will surrendered to the divine. Imagine them raising a simple, powerful prayer for protection, for healing, for the light of God to flood the earth and silence every dark frequency. This collective intention, focused through the lens of this cosmic event, would create a spiritual shockwave that would scramble the enemy's plans entirely. It would turn their moment of anticipated triumph into their greatest defeat. The next part of this revelation will show you the historical precedents for this. Moments where faithful prayer, during a celestial sign, altered the course of history in ways you are never taught in school. Consider the story of Hezekiah. The king of Assyria, Sennacherib, had surrounded Jerusalem with a vast, unstoppable army. He mocked the God of Israel, and defeat seemed inevitable. Hezekiah, facing annihilation, did not just prepare his defenses. He went to the temple and prayed. And that very night, the angel of the Lord went out and put to death 185,000 men in the Assyrian camp. But the celestial sign is what seals this story. Hezekiah was later given a sign by God as a promise of his healing. God offered to move the shadow on the stairway of Ahaz 10 steps forward or 10 steps back. Hezekiah asked for it to go back 10 steps. And 2 Kings 20:11 records this incredible event. So the prophet Isaiah called out to the Lord, and the Lord made the shadow go back the 10 steps it had gone down on the stairway of Ahaz. What was this if not a local, miraculous manipulation of space-time? A bending of the light from the sun, a celestial sign that demonstrated God as absolute sovereignty over the very cosmic clockwork the enemy seeks to manipulate? This was a preview, a demonstration of the principle that when God's people pray in faith, the laws of the universe themselves can be reconfigured to serve his redemptive purposes. Now, apply that to our moment. The dark ritual planned by the modern successors of the Nephilim priesthood is a complex act of spiritual engineering, a precise alignment of time, place, and intention, much like a safecracker listening for the tumblers to fall into place. But our prayer, our worship, is the equivalent of a divine magnet that can scramble the tumblers. It introduces a variable their cold, arrogant calculations cannot account for: the sovereign, unpredictable, and overwhelming power of grace. They are trying to use the celestial event as a key. We are being called to use it as a lightning rod for divine power. But to fully understand the nature of the power we are dealing with, we must journey even deeper into the very throne room of heaven itself, to uncover the mystery of the Merkabah, the chariot of God that Ezekiel saw, which is far more than a vision. It is the ultimate key to the cosmos, and its secrets are directly tied to the event unfolding above us. Look at the tapestry we have woven together. From the silent, majestic language of the stars to the hidden architecture of our very reality, we have journeyed through the deepest mysteries of time. We began with a simple celestial event, a dance of light in the heavens, and we peeled back the layers to uncover a war. A war that began not in the trenches of earth, but in the heart of heaven itself. We have seen the ancient rebellion of the Watchers, their forbidden knowledge, their corrupted offspring, the Nephilim, and their relentless campaign to chain humanity to a destiny of darkness. We have exposed the truth that the flood was a quarantine, and that the enemy's lineage and Luciferian knowledge survived, hidden in the shadows, building their secret societies and corrupting the ancient, God-given energy grid of the earth. We have stood at the precipice and seen their endgame, to use this very celestial alignment, this surge of cosmic energy, as a key to open a door they were never meant to open, to signal the powers of darkness and usher in their counterfeit kingdom. We have faced the terrifying reality of their spiritual technology, their rituals, and their arrogance. But then we uncovered the divine counteroffensive. We learned that this is not their moment alone. It is our moment of divine appointment. The same heavens they seek to corrupt are the Lord's canvas. The same energy they seek to hijack is the vehicle of his glory. We have discovered the ultimate weapon, not a sword of steel, but a heart of faith. Not a complex ritual, but a simple, powerful prayer from a surrendered spirit. You are not a spectator. You are a soldier of light. Your worship is a frequency that shatters darkness. Your love is a force that dismantles strongholds. Your prayer, especially in this divinely orchestrated moment, is the jamming signal that scrambles the enemy's plans and turns their triumph into ash. The evidence is undeniable. From Hezekiah's sundial, moving backward to the cosmic battle described in the stars, history itself testifies that when God sees people align with his will in a moment of celestial significance, the universe itself reconfigures for their victory. The Merkaba, the chariot of God, is not a relic of the past. It is the living, dynamic reality of his mobile throne, and it moves on the rails of worship and obedience. This celestial event is a divine invitation to climb aboard, to be part of a wave of redemption that will crash against the shores of darkness. And so now, the final move is yours. This is not where the story ends. This is where your part in it begins. The knowledge you now carry is not for you to hoard in silence. It is a fire in your bones that must be released. The time for passive watching is over. The hour for powerful action is now. I am calling you to the front lines, right here, right now. This comment section is more than a space for words. It is an altar. It is a digital campfire around which the armies of God are gathering to declare their allegiance. I am asking you, with every fiber of urgency in my spirit, to do three things. First, build the altar. Leave your mark on this holy ground. I want you to write your comment. Do not be silent. Make your confession. Declare, I am a soldier of light. Write your short, powerful prayer. Lord, use me as your instrument of light in this hour. Or testify to what God has done in your life. Let this space explode with 1,000 points of light, a symphony of faith that heaven will hear and the enemy will fear. Let this comment section become a living scroll of testimony that will stand as an eternal witness of our collective yes to God in this critical hour. Second, sound the trumpet. Share this message without delay. Do not keep this revelation to yourself. The enemy relies on our silence and our complacency. Shatter it. I am challenging you with a sense of holy responsibility to share this video with at least 10 people. Share it with your family, your friends, your prayer group, that person the Holy Spirit just brought to your mind. When you hit that share button, you are not just forwarding a video. You are launching a spiritual rescue mission. You are throwing a lifeline to someone drowning in confusion. You are arming a fellow soldier with intelligence for the battle. You are helping to spread God's teaching, and in doing so, you are extending His blessing, His protection, and His salvation to countless others. You become a distributor of divine destiny. Remember this, when this video reaches more souls, it is not merely content going viral. It is God's Word marching forward. It is truth displacing lies. It is light invading darkness. Every view, every share, every comment of faith is a crack in the enemy's armor, a step toward the ultimate victory of the kingdom of God. The celestial clock is ticking. The alignment is reaching its peak. The battle for the very soul of this age is at its climax. Will you be a name written in the comments, a voice that was raised in prayer, a hand that shared the truth? Or will you be a silent spectator? The choice is yours. Let this moment be your declaration. Let this platform be your platform. Let your voice be the voice that helps turn the tide. Build the altar. Sound the trumpet. The victory is ours to claim. Now, do it now.